All right, Sober Diaries. Different bed, same diary. Don't ask me how I'm here because I'm not going to tell you. But today's topic, ironically, is what is it like to go out sober? Now, I know this is a common... I've actually moved and there's a lot of banging outside, so I hope it doesn't distract us too much. But a lot of people ask me this question. It's like the number one fear. They always say, what's it like going out sober? And to be honest, being 4.5 years into this journey, I just think of it as just going out as normal. I don't actually think to myself, oh no, I'm going out sober. It's like kind of changed over now. In the beginning, it was like, I was like, I'm going to be going to this pub. I'm going to know like one or two people, and then there's going to be a group of people who I don't know. And then I'd be like, I feel a little bit awkward, a little bit anxious. But now, to be honest with you, I literally just don't care. I can literally just go out to a nightclub and I will just not feel any like anxiety or like, you know, when you're like ultra aware, you know, when you go out to a setting and everyone's drinking and you're drinking and you're kind of like in the mix of things, in the flow, and everyone's talking and you're having a few drinks and you're really relaxed and you're not actually really aware. But when you're not drunk and you turn up late to like a party and everyone's on a different level, you're like really aware of everyone who's around you and you're like, oh, I don't want to say this, I don't want to do that, I don't want to talk to her, I don't want to introduce myself to him. But anyway, so the reason I'm making this video is because just moved to Bali, and I've told you this about 10 times already, but if you're new to the video, moved from Australia after 6 years, moved to Bali, massive lifestyle change and massive career change as well. I did this just over 3 weeks ago. Basically left the country of my dreams where I was stuck in a job, a 9-to-5, which I'd actually got into during my party days, which was a good paid job, a trade, well respected, and I took that job. For years I just kept drinking and going to this job and doing drugs on the weekend because I wasn't happy. I knew deep down from the beginning the job wasn't for me. So obviously going down a different career path now of making content for you guys and coaching people how to get sober without having to go to meetings, I decided it was the best thing for me to do was to move to Bali. So I've gone from Australia to Bali. In the space of 3 weeks, I've made 2 friends. One guy I get on really well with, we went out last night and he asks me, he says, like, what's it like to go out and not drink? So we went out last night, we went and got food and we walked around like the busy part of Bali. We went to this, I think it was called Hotel Mexicano or Mexicola. So we walk to the entrance. I'm like, right, I'm not going to pay for entry to go into this place. We walk up. Like, do we have to pay for entry? And there's this Aussie girl. She was like working on the door. And she's like, no. And then we walked in. So we walk in, there's just like music blasting everywhere. Everyone looks about 18 and people are just like sitting on the tables, like opposite each other. And honestly, everyone's just like that, just on their phone, like just nothing was really happening. I walked in and I thought, oh, this doesn't even look fun. Like these people are just sitting here, they're not even talking to each other. And they're just drinking, getting pissed to the point where they're bored, so they're just necking drinks. And then within about 2 hours' time, they're going to get up and realise how actual drunk they are, which is going to actually ruin their tomorrow. It's going to make them stay up all night, make stupid decisions. So anyway, we walk over to the menu. There's like a menu by the bar. So we're like, right, in Australia, there's like a big selection of non-alcoholic drinks. I've talked about this before. If you're going to go out and you're not going to drink, get an alcoholic beer. I swear to God, went over my mate's house before, everyone was drinking in Australia, and I got a pack of 4 Peronis. They literally taste like alcohol. I swear to God, I was drinking them because I had the bottle in my hand. It just literally, it made me feel like I was drinking beer, and it was crazy. It was like a placebo effect. Like, I just kind of like worked my way into the atmosphere of everyone drinking, and I actually was on the same level as them. Like, my frequency was the same as them, my energy levels, my conversational skills were just flowing. You know, like when you have like 2 Red Bull and vodkas and you just flow in and everything's just nice and you just feel like, oh, I literally felt like that. So we look at this menu. There's absolutely no non-alcoholic beverages on there. So we're like, right, we're not just going to sit in the pub and just drink Red Bull and Cokes and stuff, because it's like the worst drink you can drink. I actually went out one time in Australia, and this was in the early initial stages of not drinking. Now, I don't recommend you do this. I had like 4 Red Bull and vodkas. I actually went home about 12 o'clock at night, and I laid in bed and I couldn't sleep. I might as well have gone out and drunk vodka and Red Bull and done 2 grams of cocaine, because, yeah, probably the worst drink you can drink. So we look at this menu, there's no non-alcoholic beers in there, so we just basically walk out. And it just made me realise, like, everyone asks me this question, how do you go out sober? And the truth of the matter is, when I go out now, I don't actually like it. I like the thought of going out. If you're a guy, your main concern is, how the fuck am I going to pull birds? Because if you haven't got a decent Tinder or Hinge profile where you're like in the top 5%, you're not going to get any matches. And the matches you're going to get, they're not going to be good. So, you know, I've got some good modelling photos. I'm not afraid to say it. I am on Tinder. I don't use Hinge. For some reason, it doesn't work in Bali, but I've had a lot of matches in Bali on Tinder. Some of them are okay, but, you know, you always keep a fighting chance on that, especially for a guy who doesn't really go out. You know, I spend a lot of time working, so, like, I'm not going to go to nightclubs and pubs and bars every single night. By the way, if you do meet someone in a nightclub or a bar, they're probably not going to be the best person anyway. If you do want to meet people going out, this is a separate topic, so I'm not going to go deep into it. But I've just started doing yoga. I'm in a really good gym. It's like a paid community. There's a swimming pool. You've got like sun loungers, sauna. Places like this where you can like hang around, where you're going to be going day after day, where you can meet people and build a relationship. That is ideal. If you want to go meet girls who are like-minded, who are in good shape, health conscious, get yourself in a good gym where you can hang around. Not like a cheap gym where you just go in, everyone's got their headphones in, you train and go home. Go to a place where like you're hanging around in the vicinity. Now, although there's a good saying, don't shit where you eat, but, you know, that's not always the case. If you do meet someone good, you know, brilliant. Oh, and by the way, guys, I've completed a 7-day video course on how to get sober without the use of Alcohol Anonymous or Narcotics Anonymous. I've condensed 4.5 years of my sober journey, put it into a video course. The link is in the description. It's an absolute bargain, and if you do everything it says, you will change your life. But yeah, so I don't actually really enjoy going out drinking anymore. Well, going out drinking non-alcoholic drinks in an alcoholic venue. And I think a lot of people's fears about wanting to go out but not drinking and thinking they're not going to fit in. Trust me, the further you get into your journey, you're going to realise when you do go out and you see everyone drinking, no one really appears to have a good time anyway. They just sort of go out, get really drunk. After 10 o'clock, nothing really good happens. The conversation goes downhill. People make stupid mistakes. You're more likely to go home with a girl who you're going to wake up next to in the morning, who you're not probably going to be attracted to. You could potentially get someone pregnant. So if you are a single man who's sober curious, who's in your 30s and your 40s, probably the worst thing you can do is pick up a chick that you don't even want to be with and then get her pregnant. And then you'll be really screwed because you'll be tied down and you won't be free. And I've had a few people say to me that they're lonely and they drink, but they want to stop drinking and they don't have a girlfriend. Trust me, you would rather be in the position that you're in now, stop drinking and then rebuild your life. So that was just my take on it. Going out sober is not really the greatest thing in the world. Personally, when I do go out to a venue where they do serve alcohol, it's usually on a Sunday when the UFC's on. I like to watch sports. I like to have a bit of entertainment. But yeah, as for going to nightclubs, I mean, I stayed out till like 11 o'clock last night. I usually get up at 6 a.m. I woke up at 7 o'clock. I actually feel like I've got a little bit of a hangover because I'm tired, and that's what a hangover is, when you're dehydrated and you haven't slept properly. So it's going to affect my day today, but we're still here making YouTube videos because that is how we roll. So that was just my thought on going out to alcoholic venues, drinking non-alcoholic drinks. So I hope you enjoyed this one in the new venue, and I'll see you in the next one.